beautiful Adelaide, here down at West Lakes, our new home of course in South Australia. And I joined the West Lakes Canoe Club, and this is their monthly 6k time trial. So there was 2 starts, first group and second group. I'm in the second group, and just like that we're away. So it's a Y-shaped course, and we go out to a couple of pedestrian bridges, and that's what you turn around, and you'll see that shortly. It's a nice chilly morning here in Adelaide. It's about 5 degrees Celsius, so I'm slowly getting used to the cold weather, and I actually quite like it. And this lady here in the black Epic, Deb. I think her name's Deb, and Deb, if you watch this and I got your name wrong, I'm really sorry, but you told me after your name's Deb, so let's go with that. So this lady is a powerhouse, and she came past me, and I thought, shit, I better jump on the wake here, and I did. And funny enough, at some point I actually tried to go around her and realised that wasn't going to happen, so I slipped back in straight away. And as I found out with Deb, she used to paddle marathon for Australia, so not too bad hanging on to her. Now we had to stop here because a couple of rowers were coming through, and of course they're going backwards and can't really see what's going on, so we had to give way to them. And this is this pedestrian bridge that we spin around, so that's the first turning marker. And we just sort of hooked in behind the rowers. They tend to go a little bit quicker. So we're on our way back to where we started, but we don't go straight back. We veer around to the right, as you'll see shortly. And here's Deb again. So I managed to scoot off around that bridge, but she caught up pretty quickly. It was a real pleasure with me to paddle with someone of her experience, and even more of a pleasure that I could keep up with her. Now this orange boat off to the right there, that's a canoe, I think they call them, single blade. I had no idea these things went so quick. Mind you, I think this bloke's a pretty established paddler. Now I don't know if they have rudders or how they steer that. I think they steer it with their blade somehow. So he was sitting on the front. As you can see, I'm not doing much work yet. I'm just sitting on Deb here, and this is the second pedestrian bridge. So pretty simple markers to go around. I almost crashed into that black boat there, but managed to get around it. That is a bad habit of mine, crashing into boats, if you've watched any of my previous videos. And now we're on the home straight. Now it's a headwind heading home. So we're heading north. The winds tend to come from the north. And Deb tried to sprint away from me here, I reckon. You can see her rating picked up, and I had to really dig deep to get back on her wake. And thankfully I did. Always being cautious not to run into her, because that's pretty annoying when that happens. Now the guy in the orange canoe, he is off to the right there, just out of shot, so he sort of stayed there also, but we turn much quicker around that bridge than he can. So he's a bit of a disadvantage, and here you can see the dragon boats. There was 2 of them. I reckon there's had to be 20 plus people in each boat. So very active down here at West Lakes. Funny enough, this is where I used to row as a kid, on this same lake. So great memories of this spot. And I pulled up onto Deb's shoulder here a little bit. I'm not sure where the wake is more effective, on the side like this or immediately behind. Now you can see a pontoon coming up straight ahead just off to the left, and I was sitting on her left hand side, and I actually nudged her there because she came across to take the shortest line next to that pontoon there, so sorry about that. I did apologise at the end of the time trial. And I think we're probably about 1 kilometre from the finish, so it starts to get a little bit choppy, and I made the decision to come up next to Deb at this point. I'd bludged off her for the last 5 kilometres, last little bit of still water, and there was this really cool fog, so it was a bit eerie paddling in. Now there's so much traffic up here. I think the SASI, which is South Australian Sports Institute K1 paddlers were out. I think that's them you can see off to the right there, so we had to go around them. And Deb kept coming across to the left, so I thought, well, I better just follow her. And these are markers that the K1 sprinters use. But there was so many vessels out on the water, it was really cool. So this is probably the stiffest headwind, and it gets quite choppy. I'd warmed up by this stage, so although you're quite wet, I stayed nice and warm. You can see that fog now. Very cool. And Deb is just to the right there, you just can't see her. And these are the last markers before the finish line. So there's a great canoe club here where everyone stores their boats, including me. I wasn't really sure where the finish line was, but we basically crossed the line together. And for my first real paddle in about 6 months, I felt pretty good. I was pretty impressed with it. I think it took me about 33 minutes to knock out 6k. And that's my 6k time trial at West Lakes in Adelaide. And that's it, is it? Well, that was very cool. Oh, Australian marathon team. Oh, well, I feel real good that I kept up with an Australian representative. No, thanks for letting me sit on you.